Okay, so I know it's been a long time coming, but it's finally back. Welcome back to part 7 of the me20. This is a collection of simple ideas for improving the world around you. They're individual actions that, if adopted by the masses, could make significant beneficial changes to our society. Part 7 is about adoption and saying no to kids. Now, most of the entries in the me20 are more general, but part 7 and part 6 that I'm following on from deal with a more specific act that most people will at some point in their life face, and that is the act of child rearing. Now, this follows on from part 6, where we talked about how prospective parents can have their genes screened for genetically inherited diseases. Now, this would obviously be a direct way to ensure that another life is not burdened with abject suffering. But there is a broader problem that some people will be aware of, and that is the long list of parentless children that, through no fault of their own, have to start their life several yards behind the starting line in the race of life. Now, the social services, at least in the UK, often do wonderful things for these children. Care homes can and do provide thousands of children with the support that they need to move on to lead a productive and fulfilling life. But the fact is that a large percentage of these children, mainly the much younger ones, would benefit more from being placed with a family unit, be it a foster home or straight-out adoption. Now, there are several factors involved with raising a child that state-run or private care homes cannot provide, and although many of them are incredibly supportive and genuinely caring, there is most often a degree of institutionalisation that cannot be avoided. Adopting a child not only takes them off the waiting list and into a loving home environment, it also reduces the probability of that child becoming involved with hard drugs, crime and prostitution. Reading from an article on BBC News in 2006, it says, most young people in local authority care are destined to end up in prison, homeless or working as prostitutes, a report by a think tank claims. Of these 6,000 who leave care each year, 4,500 will have no qualifications and a fifth will be homeless. A fifth will be homeless, says the study by the Centre for Policy Studies. Report author Harriet Sargent said that the system was failing young people and society and perpetuating an underclass. Now, the report, entitled Handle with Care, was an investigation into the care system. It showed that most were in care due to abuse or neglect, that's 62% of them, or family dysfunction, 10%, absent parents, 8%, and socially unacceptable behaviour, only 3%. It also found that within 2 years of leaving care, 3,000 of the 6,000 young people will be unemployed, 2,100 will be mothers or pregnant, and 1,200 will be homeless. Report author Harriet Sargent said a childhood of abuse followed by an adolescence spent in care sets up young people for all the disadvantages that define social exclusion, illiteracy, homelessness, drug and alcohol dependency, prostitution and criminality. A successful system of care would transform this country, the report says. It would empty a third of our prisons and shift half of all prisoners under the age of 25 out of the criminal justice system. It would halve the number of prostitutes and homeless, and remove 80% of big issue sellers from our street corners. The report said the problem is not the amount of money. The government spends $40,000 on each child, but the way it's spent. It added that children were being moved far too frequently between carers, care homes focused on short-term containment rather than long-term success, and there was not enough support for charges once they had left the system. The statistics for adopted children who have stayed with their adoptive parents through to adulthood becoming involved in these disadvantaged positions are drastically lower. But there's another side to this equation. Having children at all is an inherently selfish act. There is no unborn child waiting to be blessed with existence. If it is the adult's desire to rear a child and the only reason to favour actual reproduction over adoption is to further your own genes and to create a copy of yourself, now this again is an inherently selfish act. In the debate between nature and nurture, nurture won out. If you raise a child in what could be described as the correct way, it doesn't matter if that child has your eyes or your partner's nose. Personality and temperament is a product of your exposure to the environment around you and the effects of the way that you were raised. So there is no reason other than selfish reasons to favour reproduction over adopting or fostering a child. I myself do have a strong desire to care for a child, and adoption is something that I'm certainly going to consider, but not until such time as I believe I can provide adequately for one. Thanks for listening, and hopefully part 8 won't be so long in coming. Bye bye!